Hi, I'm Emily Simpson,
And I'm Gabia Trichoqueta.
and we are presenting on the use of xanthan gum in a vinaigrette-style dressing.
To give a little background on xanthan gum, it is derived from Xanthomonas campestris through a fermentation process. Xanthan gum is used as a suspending agent, emulsifier, stabilizer, and a thickening agent in various foods, especially in dressings and sauces, where it prevents oil separation. It is found in foods in concentrations of 0.1% to 0.5% by weight, and it is most often found in dressings at concentrations of 0.25 to 0.5% by weight, which influenced us to evaluate both ends of this range in our experiment.
We made a raspberry balsamic vinaigrette dressing testing different concentrations of xanthan gum. We tested 0.25% concentration of xanthan gum, a 0.5% concentration of xanthan gum, and a control that contained no xanthan gum.
We hypothesized that the 0.25% and the 0.5% xanthan gum dressings would be rated as the smoothest, most preferred, and the most visually appealing when compared to the control individually.
Table 1 lists the ingredients needed to make one batch of the dressing. At the bottom of the table lists the values of xanthan gum that were used in our two experimental dressing types. When making the control, the xanthan gum at the bottom of the table would not be added. Table 2 lists all the supplies that are needed to make the dressings as well as construct the experiment. The ingredients listed in Table 1 on the previous slide were mixed well to create a dressing for each sample type. Each sample of dressing was labeled with a 3-digit code, such as 605 or 708 for randomization purposes and to avoid bias in our results. Participants were instructed to taste each sample and rank its smoothness and appearance from 0 to 100, with 0 being lumpiest or unappealing and 100 being smooth or very appealing. They were then asked to select the sample they most preferred. The samples were placed in a refrigerator for 24 hours and a picture was taken. The participants were shown the photo and asked to rate the appearance on a line scale from 0 to 100, with 0 being unappealing and 100 being very appealing. Each of the responses were recorded using Purdue Qualtrics survey. The data was collected, downloaded, and analyzed using Microsoft Excel.
As previously mentioned, these are the images of the photos that were taken after being placed in the refrigerator for 24 hours. As you can see, the image on the left of the 0.5% xanthan gum appears to be both thicker and lumpy as shown on the sides of the bowl. The 0.25% xanthan gum shown on the right appears to be thicker, though not nearly as lumpy. The control dressing is thin and smooth and exhibits no emulsification characteristics as the oil is separated.
These are the results comparing the smoothness of the two experimental dressings to the control. As shown on the left, the 0.25% xanthan gum dressing was ranked as being less smooth compared to the control, and this was a significant result. The chart on the right shows the smoothness of the 0.5% xanthan gum, which was also ranked as less smooth compared to the control and was also found to be significant. The data was analyzed using a paired t-test in order to obtain these results.
When comparing the appearance of the two experimental dressings to the control, the graph on the left shows the 0.25% xanthan gum dressing being ranked as less appealing compared to the control, and this was a significant result. The graph on the right shows the appearance of the 0.5% xanthan gum, which was also ranked as less appealing when compared to the control, and this was also found to be significant. The data was analyzed using a paired t-test in order to obtain these results.
This slide shows the results of the preference test. The pie chart on the left displays that 7 people chose the 0.25% xanthan gum dressing, while 13 people preferred the control. A preference test was used and found that there was not a significant difference. The pie chart on the right displays the 0.5% xanthan gum dressing compared to the control. 5 participants preferred the xanthan gum dressing, while 15 preferred the control. The results of this were significant, with the control dressing being preferred over the experimental dressing. When comparing the appearance after the dressing sat in the refrigerator for 24 hours by looking at the images, the graph on the left shows the 0.25% xanthan gum dressing being ranked as less appealing compared to the control and was a significant result. The graph on the right shows the appearance of the 0.5% xanthan gum, which was also ranked as less appealing compared to the control and was found to be significant. The data was analyzed using a paired t-test in order to obtain these results as well. The appearance of the control dressing looked as expected as a vinaigrette dressing should, whereas the experimental dressings containing xanthan gum appeared very lumpy and almost too creamy for the consumer's liking.
Our study was aimed to determine if consumers would be more satisfied with a vinaigrette-style dressing containing 0.5% concentration xanthan gum, 0.25% concentration xanthan gum, or no xanthan gum. We had hypothesized that the dressings containing xanthan gum would be preferred by consumers, though our results did not support our hypothesis as the participants ranked that the control, the dressing with no xanthan gum, was more appealing in appearance, both immediately after being made as well as after sitting in the refrigerator for 24 hours. They also ranked the control as having a smoother texture when compared to each experimental dressing individually. The control was preferred over the 0.5% xanthan gum, and this result was found to be significant, which was not supporting our hypothesis. The 0.25% xanthan gum was also preferred over the control, although this result was not significant. The dressings containing xanthan gum became thicker and lumpy, which deterred the participants from finding it appealing. Our participants were all females who opted for the more natural appearance to foods. The control dressing, since it contained no xanthan gum, was smooth and thin, giving it an appearance and texture which is most like the vinaigrette dressings that people are used to being sold in the store on shelves. It is possible that lower concentrations of xanthan gum would be beneficial for the emulsification of this dressing. This could aid in a more favorable texture and appearance to the consumer's eye. This could be tested in future studies using concentrations lower than 0.25% xanthan gum. Also, testing a more diverse group of participants, such as a larger age range and incorporating both males and females, could provide different results. It is important to identify the appropriate amount or if xanthan gum is necessary at all to be used in a product in order to best satisfy consumers' wants and needs. These are the sources that we used in order to gather background information on xanthan gum, as well as the suggested concentrations of xanthan that are most commonly used in foods, dips, and dressings. Thank you all for listening.